Hi everyone, and I'm working on a 40 by 30 centimeter flower arrangement, bouquet, whatever you want to call it. And I started it this morning, and on and off I've been dabbling with it because I've had to stop a few times and do some things with my grandson. But as you can see, I've did the first square and now I'm working on this second square up here. And I'm adding some ABs. So my number 4, which is like a lilac color, is, let me turn this light off for a minute while I show you these colors. Oh, I think it's my light board that, okay. My light board has a switch on a cord rather than on the light board itself. It's down here on this cord. So I'm not bumping it with my hand and accidentally turning it on and off with my hand as I, work on my diamond painting. So I love that. But this color right here is sort of like an orchid color, if you can see that. And I'm replacing that number 4 with these sparkly diamond dots AB drills. So those two go together. And then this is more of like a light, it really is like a light mustard color. And on my canvas, there's very little yellow or that color, but I'm using some ABs to replace that one. And then I'm going to, for G, where there's white, I'm going to use my white ABs. And on my canvas where there's real light pink, I'm going to use these pink ABs, and it's all in the flowers. The white has a little bit in the sky, so there'll be a little bit of sparkle in the sky behind it. But all in all, this is a round drill, and it's coming along pretty nicely. I have to say that I'm pretty pleased with it. Although when I started it, I started it and last night about midnight, and I only got a couple rows down here at the bottom, and the stick was so horrible. I could not release the drills off my pen. It was just incredibly unsticky. So I did a whole coating of adhesive, and when I woke up this morning, it was dry, so I put my parchment paper on it. I took the original cover sheet off. It was very crinkly and annoying, but I put the parchment paper on and tested it to make sure that it wasn't still wet, which it sat all night, and it's not. It peels off nicely, and it is now very sticky. It is, but I'm telling you, see, it's really sticky. But it was too hard to work on. I was getting so frustrated. They were slipping and sliding all over. I would put one down, and when I put one next to it, it would slide like it was on a slip and slide. It was crazy. I've never had a canvas with such terrible stick before. But luckily, I wasn't afraid to use the dot stick, although I didn't use a dot stick, but the same thing. I have a bottle of this Diamond Art Club adhesive, so I've been using that, which I used for my little project here that I've already shown you guys. Let's see. So yeah, I thought I would just pop on here for a little while. Had my grandson all morning and afternoon. He was bored. He did a little bit of his diamond painting, which I'll show you. He is doing the chameleon. And so this morning he's gotten rather far with it. It's all behind some parchment paper, but he got the bottom part done, and he does a pretty good job with getting it lined up and square. I was really checking him out, and he's very precise, but he can only do it in small little bits because he gets very preoccupied and his attention span is not the greatest, and the dogs will cause him to just go off in another world. But that's okay, he's 7 years old. So he wanted to go to the mall today, specifically to go to this place called Halo, and it's a cat rescue. They also have other animals occasionally at the one near me. And then they have a larger facility north of me, about maybe 25 minutes, and they have dogs and cats and all kinds of animals, bunny rabbits, and you name it. And that's where I got my two dogs actually from. But the one in the mall is just like a little branch of that one, and they always have cats. And so he likes to go and sign a sheet and go back with a volunteer and sit in a room with the cats that are gentle and play with them and pet them and visit with them. So today he was looking forward to doing that. He's been wanting to do it for a couple weeks now, and we went and they were short of help, so we couldn't do that. But what I was saying was that he was so bored this morning after he diamond painted, played with the dogs. He started telling me, "Grandma, I'm bored." And I said, "Well, it's too early to go to the mall. Why don't you do some housework for me?" And he said, "Okay." So I said, "Vacuum your room and let me know when you're done." So he went and took the vacuum cleaner and he vacuumed his room. And then he said, "Can I vacuum Audrey's room?" And I said, "Yes." So he vacuumed Audrey's room, and then he vacuumed the hallway, and he said, "Can I vacuum the stairs?" And I said, "Well, yeah, but before you vacuum the stairs, let's clean the baseboards, and I'll give you some money if you do that extra work." So he was excited. So he cleaned the baseboards with the brush that I gave him, and then he vacuumed the stairs. I kind of helped him. I didn't want him to fall. But he did a good job. Then he vacuumed the downstairs living room, kitchen, and dining room. And then he came upstairs, so I gave him $20. I know that's a lot, but I knew we were going to the mall, and he would probably want to buy something or go to the kids' arcade, which I was hoping not, because it cost a fortune to go to that arcade. But he didn't want to go there. He mostly wanted to visit with the cats. And of course we couldn't do that. And then he wanted to go to the bookstore. So we were looking at books, and then he thought, maybe they have Pokemon. He's into Pokemon cards. They didn't, but they had a Pokemon game that had 60 playing cards, and he was really excited about that. So it was only a couple dollars more than what I had given him. So I said, "Yeah, we'll go ahead and get it," because he was so excited about it. So we played that, kind of, sort of. I'm not a Pokemon person, and I read the instructions, but it was too complicated, even though it says it's an easy game. And so we just made up our own rules, and we played the way we wanted to play. We had a good old time. And then his uncle texted me and said he wanted to take him fishing. So it was already 2:30. But I said, "Sure, Maddie, you want to go fishing?" And he's like, "Yeah." So he lives about 45 minutes away. So he came and picked him up, and they're out fishing right now. So I thought, hey, I'm going to jump on, do a little whip and chat while he's out and about catching some fish. And he probably won't be back for an hour at least. And I only have 35% on my phone, so this won't be a very long video. I just really wanted to get on and say hello and show you what I was working on. I'm hoping to finish this by like Thursday at the latest, and then start my next 30 by 40. And then what did I want to do? Oh, I need to get back to my Chuck Pinson too. I'm halfway through with my Chuck Pinson. But I don't want to put that one on the back burner for too long, because I really, really love it, and I want to finish it. So that's that. It's been a busy day for us, and tomorrow will be just as busy. And he has piano lessons at 5:00, but we have the whole day to spend together. Last night we did, gosh, we're just doing all kinds of arts and crafts with the kids. So Father's Day is next Sunday. And we were trying to figure out, my daughter and I, when we would be able to do this craft that requires us to bake it in the oven. And we want to do it when Dad, of course, isn't home. And the only day we had to do it was yesterday and today, because we knew it was going to be a 2-day project. So last night, we took the sculpting clay out of the box. I bought this sculpting clay kit that you sculpt and then you bake it in the oven. And we did her handprint. And I think I mentioned that in one of my videos, unless I was talking to a neighbor. I don't really remember. But anyway, we did her handprint and we baked it. And Matthew, I gave him a chunk of the sculpting clay because we didn't need all of it. And he made a snake. So he wanted to make a snake for his stepdad and put magnets on the back, because that's what we're doing, is making these for his locker at work. He's a chef and he's got a locker. And so, that's what I was supposed to do, was go get my magnets out of storage. I can do that tomorrow. But anyway, she did her handprint and it's so cute. And today we're going to paint their sculptures, and she's going to add little gems to it. She's got little sparkly gems and little sparkly hearts. And I think it's going to turn out really cute. And her dad is going to love it. And then I got some Dollar Tree Father's Day cards that were super nice. You know, the kind that are wrapped in plastic and they're 3-dimensional. You know, on the front, they're kind of raised up. They're not just a flat, plain, basic printed card. $1.25, and they had such a good selection. So last night they filled their cards out for their fathers, and little by little we're getting it together. We just have to hope that Audrey doesn't ruin the surprise and tell her dad what she's doing, because at 3 years old it's hard to keep a secret. But so far so good. She didn't tell him last night when he came home. She wakes up in the middle of the night because she knows her dad comes home from work. He works 3rd shift or 2nd shift, because he gets off like around 10:30 or 11. And then she usually wakes up about the time he's getting home or shortly after, and he goes up and gives her hugs. And so I heard she just came home from daycare. I hear them downstairs. But anyway, so that's what we're doing for Father's Day. Giving them those gifts and probably going out to breakfast after church. And I think my daughter's taking him out to one of his favorite restaurants for the evening. But that's about it. I'm just going to plug away on this and hopefully get a lot done tonight. And it was a monster when I first started on it. It was not fun, but now I'm really enjoying the colors and, of course, the stick. So anyway, I'm going to get going here before the little one runs upstairs to visit. And hope you guys are having a great day. I will be back pretty soon, maybe tomorrow. Bye.